Okay, he's got a microphone. Has someone got a microphone yet? If you pass it on to the man in the hat. And lady, if you want to go first, that'd be great.
And just a question for Johnny. We're Japanese media here today. We'd like to ask, so you've touched a little bit on how you had to explore different sides of the Mad Hatter character. How was it playing a slightly less mad version for this time? There's a scene where Alice says that she makes no sense compared to you. How was it, as in preparation for the character, different from the previous one? And also, how do you think this 5-6 years since the last film the time has actually been on your side?
The time has been on my side?
Yeah.
How?
Because
I'm still alive?
Yes, that's very good to know.
It's a plus.
Which I know is a miracle, but...
I am on his side, yeah.
Oh, he's on my
He's
side.
on his side.
He is on your
Literally on your side.
Literally.
He's actually
Here we
on
go, it's improv time, people.
Yeah.
Was it nice to explore a bit of more depth to the character, I guess?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. What was really interesting about playing the Hatter this time, in the first film with Tim, the Mad Hatter, it's the Mad Hatter. So there's pretty much there's a good deal of license that you can take, and interesting places that you could travel. Within the context of the character, the Mad Hatter. But when you're dealing with the Mad Hatter who has gone noticeably farther down that road of insanity, it's like that thing, it's like if you are crazy, if you do have some sort of mental, some sort of dilemma in the brain. If you're not aware of it, it's great. If you're aware that you're crazy, it'll eat you alive. So I think in this Hatter, there's so many things that he has to question. And he has to travel in so many different spots. So basically, it's taking the Mad Hatter and making him infinitely more mad, more confused, more lost, more paranoid, more even violent. So that was a great challenge.
Yeah, when we talked about it initially, it was the idea of what is madness to a mad person.
Yeah.
And it kind of almost draws towards sanity. So you're wearing a suit, you have smart hair, and you're quite cogent at points, but there's always an element of madness about it too. So that's kind of an interesting idea, I thought.
Great, thank you.
Hi.
There you go, go for it. Go.
Hi, I'm Alberto from Caras Magazine, Argentina. The question is for Johnny Depp. We are talking about time, but the movie is about family and getting back the family together. And I was thinking, if you had a chance and you're walking down the street and you see a boy, a 6-year-old boy, that happens to be yourself, he doesn't know, and you had a chance...
Is this about to get weird?
No. Maybe, I don't know. But you have the chance to give him 3 advices and maybe changing his future, your own past, and changing your future. What advices could you give him? Regarding your artistic career, your personal life, I don't know, but...
First thing I would say is search for simplicity. Stay away from anything that makes a bunch of people stare at you while you're in a restaurant.
Okay.
or makes them follow you in cars and motorcycles back to your hotel, or try to avoid people who write incredibly, sometimes entertaining, but incredibly ludicrous fiction about you and your family. So those are a couple of things I would say to avoid. I'd probably also say, if anybody gives you any shit, just beat the fuck out of them.
Okay, and this is our last question. So, gentlemen, there with the...
Seems right. I don't know.
I'll do this one, and then we'll do the front row, and that's the last 2. Okay, and we'll get down the front here.
Hi, George from the National Student. This is a question for Mia. So the film opens and I filmed with quite an unexpected and immediate scene where you're at sea and you've got pirates chasing you. I was wondering what it was like when you opened the script to presented with such an immediate scene where Alice is like being a female action hero, but not like a conventionally masculine one, and you know what it was what it was like to see her being so fearless. Did that excite you or whatever?
Yeah, well, I thought they'd accidentally given me like Alice of the Caribbean or something. But no, it was really cool to, you know, be given something that was very active, and you know, she comes from a place where she's been, you know, a captain of a ship for 2 years and feeling incredibly empowered and doing what she loves, and so it was, it was really fun. It was. Yeah,
except
I mean,
for
it
actually
sets
shooting
up,
it, which was
except for
crazy.
shooting it, which was in the last 3 days and 3 nights of being wet and freezing in England. So. And
Mia was blue on set. She has blue.
Yeah, blue lips.
It's properly
Quite a
cold.
trooper always.
Properly
Yes.
cold. So she's a trooper because she's
Jeez.
also wet and cold,
Yeah.
which is massively unappealing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Aren't you guys impressed when you watch the movie at everything that she pulls off? It's pretty incredible.
Was it a tank? Were you filming in a tank? I mean,
It was a gimbal we built out at Longcross, so not in the sea. We had these enormous 2-ton tanks of water splashing everywhere, and it was 3 in the morning and freezing in November.
wow.
So Mia was very brave. To
Could have made,
Missed that one.
could have made the water warm.
No, too expensive. Forget it. Sorry.
And last question from the gentleman in the front.
Hello, William from Gay Times. My question is to James and to Tim. Do you both believe that there's an accurate and fair representation of LGBT characters in Disney movies today to teach the next generation about the ever-changing world that we all live in?
That's a jolly good question. I think so. I mean, it's hard. It's you know, I think something everyone's very aware of these days. And whenever you make anything, it's something you always, because it's part of the world you live in. And I think when you make a film these days, you can't help but put that into it anyway. And so, you know, people always say to me, "How do you update Lewis Carroll?" You say, I just do what I think is interesting and important. So yeah, I think so. It's one of the things that I think people are always very aware of. I'm pretty sure.
Tim, do you want to pick up on that as well?
What's that?
Would you like to pick up on his question as well?
Do I? Well, I mean, look, I hate label. I mean, I know that we're at a time when, you know, things, you know, I'm just the type of person that's I just never, I wish weren't in a world where, you know, why don't women get paid as much as men? It's stupid. I mean, none of these things, are there enough gay, lesbian characters? I mean, no, I mean, but we have to label it. It shows how bad things really are. So, I mean, I'm not really one for trying to be politically correct or do this or that, but I do think that, you know, it's just unfortunate that we even have to talk about it, and then how do you deal with it? I don't know. You know, it's unfortunate, but you know, I mean, I don't know what that is anyway, because I don't know what's like, you know. I guess I'm confused. I don't know whether I'm gay or straight, or half of my friends are, or if they're men or women. So I'm way behind.
I'm gay and I'm a woman.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
I would like to. I'm going to do this everywhere I go. I would really like to apologize for not smuggling my dogs into England, because it would have been a bad thing to do. Because the Australians, though chipper, and you know, kind of, yeah, they're chipper and they're.
That's funny. I feel like Johnny's dogs were here, weren't they? Weren't they with you on set?
Oh,
We're not gonna go down that
I
road.
forgot to tell you, they're dead. I just sat on them upstairs.
The dogs.
Sorry.
I
okay,
tried
we're
to kill them after Australia.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your questions. Please, can you give a round of applause to our wonderful
Thanks, everyone.
cast today? Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey